Dr. Doom continues his journey into the past with the hopes of changing history in order to make present-day Latveria a greater nation. But Reed Richards kind of messed those plans up a bit, so Doom's got to improvise or potentially suffer a fate that's worse than death. So with that said, let's hop back in. And if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. Alright, so coming back, this continues with Doom aboard the Titanic, April 14th of 1912, where he has landed into the body of someone who Doom considers to be nobody as a result of Reed Richards tampering with the Doom engine, which has now sent Doom to a time and location that he did not want to go to, because had things played out the way that Doom wanted, he would have landed in specific moments of the past, starting with the Paris Peace Conference of 1919, when Latveria was seated by men who didn't care for its future. But thanks to Reed, when Doom did his time leap, it sent Doom on the Titanic just moments before it's getting ready to hit the iceberg. So now this comes back with Doom saying, Richards has trapped my mind here, on the Titanic, in the body of a nobody. My weapons are gone, my armor is gone. He likely thinks he's won, but I still have the greatest weapon of all, my mind. The intellect of Doom is unstoppable, and Doom will not perish upon this ship. And now again, with how this is done, with Doom arriving here just moments before impact, he doesn't waste any time. He goes straight for the bridge, and at this point the crew has seen the iceberg, and they're getting ready to attempt to reverse engines as a way to avoid impact, which Doom knows historically is not going to work. And there's not enough time for him to stand here and explain himself, and I mean, even if Doom had the time, he probably still wouldn't. But regardless, with these dudes trying to find out who he is and why he's here, Doom just goes to swinging because he's got to take action fast. So Doom takes control and he's like, the turn won't work. You'll pierce a quarter of the hull, condemning us to the bottom of the Atlantic. Doom alone knows what must be done. And when another one walks in, seeing his crew laying out on the ground and a stranger at the helm, he flips out and these guys grab him. And again, they don't see Doom the way we see him here, but Doom tells them we must hit the iceberg head on, flooding only a handful of waterproof compartments in the hull. So now the first officer and this other guy trying to stop Doom, he says here, by the will of Doom, this ship shall not sink, as Dr. Doom makes the Titanic hit the iceberg head on, successfully saving the ship. So later, there's a number of reporters asking questions. They want to know what happened. So Doom tells them here her captain was asleep. Her first officer was attempting the impossible. Only I could save her. But now, as a direct result of Doom saving the Titanic, he's got to deal with people who still believe the ship is unsinkable. Because one of these guys is like, I have professors who assure me the first officer's maneuver would have succeeded. And even if the Titanic were wounded, she's more than proven herself unsinkable. So it's like you can't tell these guys anything, because to them the Titanic is still unsinkable, because now it never went down. And then when this guy goes on to ask, what about the scores of people who were crushed in their beds? Because even with Doom's actions, there were still at least 40 casualties. So Doom goes on to tell him, those people were a sacrifice, and their sacrifice is one that those who survived must honor. So that's where Doom's like, while we're talking about honor, as the hero of the Titanic, I demand but a simple tribute in exchange. All the nations of the world are to offer aid to Latveria, so that she may be elevated to her rightful position as the greatest nation on the planet. And now when Doom says this, these guys laugh in his face, and it's mad disrespectful, calling it a backwater. Like it's a joke to them, they think this is funny. And aside from that, the guy says here he's a fool. Does he not know he'll hang for what he's done? Because from their perspective, Doom crashed the Titanic. But when this guy says Doom will hang for what he's done, he has his head turned away from Doom, so he's the only person who doesn't see what's about to happen. Because next, when Doom tells him that it's unlikely, he just pops this guy, and he catches a couple others when they try to run. And now Doom is like, look, y'all wouldn't listen to reason, so I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm a time traveler from the future, inhabiting this body, so don't get it twisted. But in the speech where Doom tells them that his name is Doom, it's almost like he wants this moment to be remembered for years to come. But then when the police show up, everything goes black. And Doom's like, suddenly I experience oblivion, an endless dark. And then, unwillingly, I am returned to where and when I first arrived, on Titanic. For a long spell, I consider my position carefully. It is, I must admit, an elegant sabotage of my time machinery. Even if I escape the sinking as I just did, I must inevitably reach some threshold, a point at which sufficient changes to history have been chambered. But instead of sending my mind somewhere else in time, my corrupted machine sends me back to the beginning, on this cursed ship, thereby trapping me and erasing my progress. So much for leaving a lasting impression on that last one. And just within this brief moment of Doom arriving here and coming to this realization, he's reached the point where the Titanic has made contact. And now with seeing this, Doom's come to the conclusion that Reed Richards did this as a way to quickly alter the Doom engine, so Doom couldn't change the past and reshape the present. But at the same time, it's still really messed up to throw someone in an eternal time loop. But what's crazy to me is how Reed had basically used classic Dr. Doom's logic on Doom here by making sure that he was Doomlocked, so whatever Doom did in the past wouldn't create an alternate timeline or change the present. And for the longest time, that was Doom's thing. But in this case, in this story, Reed is Doomlocking Doom. And it's funny to me because Doom stole this whole time travel idea from Reed, only for Reed to turn around and steal Doom's idea of Doom locking his first jump, so Doom couldn't do anything. So the tables have turned quite a bit here. And now coming back, Doom goes on to say, but this ship will take 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink. I have time, and as always, I have a plan. I scour Titanic quickly, but methodically. I must acquire each and every weapon on board. So yeah, you heard it here, Doom's a loot goblin. And he goes on saying, but then, with my task partially complete, I find myself faced with an unexpected challenge, to where now after impact, he has some heavy equipment that has fallen and blocked the door. So he says here, my body is far too weak to move this equipment, and there is no other way out. Doom is no fool. I can easily identify the inevitable. Richards. He must have known this would happen. Because now with Doom knowing that this run is cooked, he's got to start over. But before that, he has to drown. But in Doom's case, he's not going to drown like everyone else here. Because he says here, those who drown invariably share one commonality: water in their lungs. In their agony, their crazed panic, they cannot resist the urge to inhale, even knowing they're surrounded by water. It is desperate, mad, pitiful, futile, hope for a miracle, and it is one all succumb to, moments before their death. All that is. But Doom, for Doom does not panic, and Doom most certainly does not succumb. Soon my lungs will burn. Soon each cell of my body will be screaming for oxygen. But Doom is never without his will. And thus, I deny both Richards and death. They're drowning. If my lungs are to be found, they are to be found dry. For Doom chooses suffocation. Man, leave it up to Doom. He knows how to lose like a winner. And now following this, with Doom coming back a number of times, with multiple deaths and yet still undefeated, over these different passes of this roguelike adventure, he's gathered more information to eventually ensure his success. Like for example, on one pass, he just took all the time he had to locate all the weapons so he knew where to get them in the quickest and most efficient way, so he can collect the ones he wants and dispatch the ones he doesn't. And with doing this and having everything prepared and his knowledge of the ship absolute, he's like, my plan is ready to be put in action. So now with him knowing that it takes Titanic 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink, he takes 1 hour to get everything he needs, which includes taking out the senior officers and getting their guns, because Doom's like, I need to save time and get more firepower. But after doing this, he tells everyone who's trying to escape, ladies and gentlemen of the RMS Titanic, your attention please. I have the only weapons on this ship, and I'm more than willing to employ them. The only people I will allow to escape this vessel are those who solemnly swear, on their honor, their endless loyalty to me, and to the betterment of Latveria. And now this time around, ain't nobody laughing, because these people trying to live. Because on the Titanic, there was over 2,200 people, and just over 700 survived or something like that. And there were a lot of reasons between there not being enough lifeboats for the passengers and crew. You had people in a chaotic panic. A lot of things went wrong. But in this case, Doom, he has a solution for a price. Because he gets their attention, and these guys are like, oh, okay, long live Latveria, bro. And many agreed to go with him on his terms. So this time, when Doom's able to get the survivors over to the RMS Carpathia, he quickly realizes that he made a mistake by believing that the survivors giving their word would be their bond. Because as soon as they get on the next ship, a ton of these survivors start snitching. They're pointing Doom out to the officers, like, that's him right there. He killed all who wouldn't swear allegiance to him. And eventually all the survivors start pointing and they're like, yep, he's a murderer. So that's where Doom, in his words, denies them their satisfaction. And he jump starts the next run. And now Doom notices, after traveling back to the beginning so many times, every time each one of these runs end, instead of there just being a moment of darkness, he begins to see more and more light. But also in that in-between time, he has a little bit of time. So he attempts to do a spell, because for that all he needs is his knowledge and his skill, and just enough time to cast a spell, of course. But when he uses this moment to try to cast a spell and change his destination, it doesn't work, because Doom just figured, since he didn't get his desired outcome on the Titanic, he'll go on to find endless victories elsewhere. But when he tries to alter his destination and that doesn't work, it ends up sending Doom right back to the Titanic. But this time, after going through even more loops, Doom realizes that he doesn't have to change his destination after discovering a weakness in this trap. Because then he says here, no matter, I will simply have to try again. But no matter what I try, I find myself blocked. My time engine, built perfectly, corrupted, maliciously, will not permit me to voyage anywhere else. It would be the perfect prison, trapping me for eternity, had it not owed its existence to the ever clumsy hand of Richards. And thus, across an unbound space of experimentation, inevitably, I find its weakness. True, I cannot choose a new destination, but I discover I don't have to. All I must do is block my return to this one. I know my machine. With that door closed, my destination will be random. Someone and someplace else in history. Escape is now mine, I need only grasp it. But Doom will not take his leave without ensuring Latveria's success first. And now this time around, Doom goes for the cleanest speed run, because he quickly gets a weapon, he goes for the bridge, he one-shots both of the guys who grabbed him the first time, and he goes on to steer the ship clear from the iceberg. And at this point, Doom is able to do it because he now knows the Titanic better than anyone. And he even says here that he's had more time to study it up close than any man alive. So at this point, he knows exactly what will work and what won't. So when the time comes, he's steering this thing like Dominic Toretto. So now with Doom succeeding at saving the Titanic, he's still got to make this a win for Latveria too. So first he tells them to telegraph to the shore and let them know Doom has taken the Titanic hostage. Then he demands for aid to be sent to Latveria, or he'll kill a hostage every 10 minutes. So about 30 minutes later, they start taking him seriously. And when they do, Doom asks that they provide proof. And just after he verifies it, Doom's like, alright, Latveria's getting help, on to the next. Because now his work on the Titanic is done, and it's further proven when he finds himself back in the temporal void. And this time he's able to save his progress by doing a spell to block himself from returning to this moment. And the spell works, but even now Doom doesn't know where he's heading next. And as all of time opens up to him, Doom says here, I have no control, no influence over my destination, but I am free of the prison Reed Richards crafted, which leaves but one question. Who shall Doom inhabit next? And now this is what takes us into July of 1775 at the Siege of Boston, where Doom finds himself in the body of George Washington. So I can just imagine he ain't about to force the British out for free, because at this time he has months to prepare. So I can just imagine he's about to set some deals up that heavily favor the prosperity of Latveria. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/DopeSpill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.